All it says that you cannot, there's no way to prove, by definition, objective truths or objective moral claims, because in their definition, they don't require evidence, they just exist, they just are moral.
They just are.
Right. I want to go to ask you this question. She said that there is no such thing. We cannot prove that objective moral claims exist. They just simply are.
This is, bro.
So is that in of itself an objective claim?
I think so, man. That's definitely an objective claim.
So that's called
they can't prove.
So that's called a
self-refutation right there. So,
or a contradiction. Okay, guys. Welcome, or I should say, thank you for watching this video.
Yeah. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. The video's over, debate's over. I don't know what this took, an hour and 20 minutes to get to.
She literally said that we cannot prove that objective claims exist. Morals are just are. Is that statement in of itself an objective claim?
And then just displaying what something is not a justification for it. So
yes,
that response is invalid.
Okay, let's go to rewind it just a little bit, guys. We just have to go ahead and just show you the contradiction in of itself in that statement. Okay.
They just are, by definition, objective truths or objective moral claims, because in their definition, they don't require evidence, they just exist, they just are moral, they just are true. That's not conceivable. In any circumstance when we have some type of like premise, we either just assume it, like we assume that, like, for example, again, like I've said before, reality exists, right? We assume that to make tangible discussions, make tangible claims, test hypotheses, whatever. But beyond that, like if I want to say, we should all, like, I don't know, I'm trying to give some example. Like slavery should become a thing again.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop it there just so I can say this. I understand what she's trying to say. We understand what she's trying to say. Really, it sounds like an excuse that I don't want to go ahead and give you my grounding for my morals. I'm going to go ahead and contrast it or compare it to how the way we do science. We have to start off from a jumping point somewhere, such as reality exists. And then only whenever we assume that reality exists, then we can start to do scientific progress. Just the same way as we do morals. Come on, we have to assume that slavery is wrong. That's why she was about to bring up slavery. Okay, again, it sounds like an excuse that you don't want to go ahead and ground your morality. You're just simply going to go ahead and assume that certain actions are right versus others. Gotcha.
She's running from it because she actually can't give a coherent grounding for it. So this is what all atheists attempt to do, essentially. It's like, no, I really don't want to get into that. This just is. Right. It just is, bro.
Okay.
It just is.
In the words of Jay Dyer. So to put it simply, that's her grounding without necessarily giving a grounding. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this segment in which the Orthodox Christian, this handsome fellow, not more handsomer than this guy, right? That was so stupid. Okay, I'm pretty gay. Where he asked her, what are your thoughts on SA? How can you place blameworthy upon those individuals if they were predetermined to do that action? Here is her response.
From your worldview, I don't even see how you could say that grape is wrong, because it's the mechanism. The man doing it was determined, and the woman receiving it, she was determined to kind of be in that situation no matter how she feels about it.
So when someone essays someone, I would say that, like we said, that those actions, we don't like those actions. They're bad because they kind of like violate someone's ability to kind of just like freely exist and kind of just like exist like with their bodily autonomy and things of that nature. But the solution is not to say I think we should say, boo, that is bad. But the solution is to rehabilitate that person, find out whatever cause caused them to do that, and exterminate that cause. So that's kind of the way I would take something like grape or
what if the cause is biological?
Like
Louise, guys, thank you for bearing with us.
Holy crap! So there's so much to say, but as you guys can see, if you guys really listened to what she was saying, and just as Ariel said, thank you guys for bearing that or enduring that pain with us. He doesn't answer the question.
He does.
He says, "Hey, how are you able to hold this individual morally responsible for these particular actions if both individuals within the action are predetermined to do so?" Then she goes on the tangent of why certain things are wrong, and then the solution that you would add or contribute towards it. No. Come
Right.
back to the question.
Mhm.
And of course, it's a fallacy, a red herring that she didn't answer his question. How can you hold this individual morally responsible considering your deterministic worldview? But then with even in her response, she's presupposing that this thing is bad and we should
Exactly.
have a solution towards this thing. Can't
Right.
can't hold them morally responsible for it. They're predetermined. I don't
Exactly.
understand.
Right. It's me neither. I was just about to say, I truly don't understand. If we are predetermined to do certain actions, then I'm going to go ahead and rehabilitate that person for doing something that he or she was determined to do. What? So you're placing moral judgments upon me again, in which I was predetermined to do something.
Exactly.
She says, the reason why we can go ahead and rehabilitate someone because we as a society collectively agree that grape was wrong, that essay sewing is wrong. But the reason why we keep on telling you or bringing you back to the question is, what about blameworthy though? You're going to hold him morally responsible for this action that he did, regardless if society thinks that grape is wrong. Nonetheless, he was predetermined to do that. You're going to put, again, it does sound like we're reiterating ourselves, and I'm going to reiterate as much as I can to drive the point home. It doesn't make sense for us to place any moral judgments or values if someone was predetermined to do something. It's not his or her fault.
Then she also, or additionally, she adds on all of these value judgments and why she wouldn't want another individual to essay someone because she values other humans. What is value within your worldview? What is bad within your worldview? So these are also questions that we should ask. And I'm not critiquing this guy at all, but my perspective. These are things that I'm going to be asking. Having these exchanges. It's like, okay, now you're presupposing all of these things.
Right.
But then even within your framework, it's just so conflicting. I was just talking with Ariel before we started this. I was like, of course, determinism is a self-refutation because, them presenting an argument is a self-refutation to, the determinism
Right.
worldview. And so it's just very weird that their actions don't correspond with what they're saying. So I think that's just, it's pretty funny.
Yes.
Did you have anything to add on?
Final thoughts. In Christianity, you will be hold. You will be. You see, it kind of trips me up thinking about this because this is the truth. You will be held morally responsible for every single action that you do in this lifetime. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you if you do not believe in Christianity, you will go to hell. That is not my position to say. That is only God, because He is the perfect judge. That being said, in this life to come, there will be a standard in which God is going to judge you off of. In the next life to come, it's not just going to be bleak, it's not going to be nothingness. Okay, you will be held morally responsible for your actions. Because, again, under predeterminism, morals, progress, meaning, all going to cease to exist. Why I ought to follow any of that at all? Because it's based off of society consensus? Absolutely not. That's my final thoughts.
Wanted to give a condensed justification for free will within the Christian paradigm. So, of course, within the Bible, of course, it presents that to us. But if God, of course, we refer to Jesus as God, created the world with, regularity or telos, which is his purpose, and then presented man, which is, man and woman in the sense, with the nature to have discernment, to have deliberation, then we would have a coherent justification on how we would be able to have free will. A part of that is, of course, philosophical argumentation against determinism, that with endorsing the deterministic view, you're self-refuting yourself and negating the possibility to have knowledge itself. So you can see how that's already a whammy. And I believe his opening statement, he did get into that. But I just want to give a brief justification. Of course, I can go deeper, but due to time, I have to keep it kind of broad. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Today's podcast will be back for more. Eric, go ahead and get in the camera. No, my camera. We gotta end the video like this. Yeah.